Canal 54, su canal de opinión.
Your lives are your human rights, derechos humanos. Here in Costa Rica, for the last 5 or 6 years, there have been many human rights abuses by the Policía Presidencial, la Dirección de Inteligencia y Seguridad of Oscar Arias, Rodrigo Arias, Arias-Chinchilla, and los negocios that que controlan la DIS. Yes, correct. The presidential police is in a cartel, es un cartel. The cartel consists of Arias-Chinchilla, Oscar Arias, Rodrigo Arias, the Partido Liberación Nacional, and negocios. Ellos usan the presidential police to, 1, extortionar otras empresas, number 2, blackmail, and this is, sorry Christina, chantajear, I hope, okay, chantajes, and also beatings, golpizas, and also this cartel, remember, this cartel spies, or ellos espían with the deputados. So tonight, you are going to see más información acerca de este cartel. Also important to remember, la Embajada de Estados Unidos, they encubrir or tapar the human rights abuses by the hermanos Arias and Arias-Chinchilla. They are part of the influence to crush or aplastar information about human rights abuses. In the future, you are going to see this information. So, tonight, let's continue with your human rights. Very, very important in our lives, okay? So, we have for you a un video of your human rights, I hope, and please try to listen to this video and understand your rights as a person. Vamos a su pantalla with your rights.
Are your human rights. There are 30 of them. They belong to you. You don't have to buy them, or apply for them, or ask permission to have them. They're just yours. No matter who you are, where you're from, how old you are, or anything else. It's just that simple. Now, some people may try to ignore your rights, or violate them, or pretend they don't exist. But they can't change the fact that they're yours. Human right number 30. No one can take away your human rights. What are human rights? Find out at youthforhumanrights.org.
All right, wonderful. Did you see number 30, numero 30? Nobody can take away your rights. Tonight, you will see a lot of information about the hermanos Arias, La Chinchilla, and this cartel, who they are taking away your constitutional rights and your human rights. Now, if you are a foreigner watching this program, I am speaking slowly because most of the people here in Costa Rica do not speak English. So please have patience. All right, so tonight, let's continue with your human rights. Your rights as a person, your constitutional rights, and what your rights are for you in the courts and what legal redress you have with the courts. Very, very interesting, okay? So, we are going to go, vamos a su pantalla, and we have news, noticias in English in this program. Human rights or derechos humanos here in Costa Rica, Central America, Europe, Africa, are the basic principles of living together with dignity with other individuals. Okay? Costa Rica is democracy, freedom, and patriotism. These are the basic fundamental precepts for a democracy. Vamos a mi cara, muy rápido. Now, in this program, we receive information from OIOTA, which is like the FBI. We receive information from ICE, like the Secret Service. We receive information from the Corte Suprema, the Supreme Court, and we receive information from the Tribunals de Justicias. They give us information. They invited me, ellos me invitaron into la Sala de Inteligencia de Costa Rica. They showed me, ellos me mostraron los computadores acerca de los teléfonos de espiando de los hermanos Arias, Chinchilla, and also with a little with OIOTA. They asked me, ellos me preguntaron, Gary, poner esta información en televisión, put this in television because we do not trust, no tenemos ninguna confianza en la nación, la república, canal 6, 7, etc., etc. Okay, so vamos a su pantalla. And please, this information, esta información en este programa fue suministrado por investigadores, directores y trabajadores del sector público y del gobierno. Por ejemplo, OIOTA o the FBI. Ellos están dándome información para presentar en este programa. Okay? ICE. Okay? ICE is like the Secret Service. And the Supreme Court, the Corte Suprema. Many estafas en la Suprema Corte con los jueces. Okay? Tribunals de Justicias. And AMNET. Okay? Vamos a mirar muy rápido. Now, very interesting. AMNET and ROXA, LADIS, use AMNET and ROXA to spy, espiar in los ciudadanos, in the citizens of Costa Rica, and use AMNET and ROXA to extortionar or extort many citizens here in Costa Rica. All right? So vamos a su pantalla. And let's continue. So we also receive, nosotros recibimos información or information from AMNET and interviews, entrevistas con las víctimas de la Policía Presidencial LADIS con la esperanza a restaurar democracia y derechos humanos a los ciudadanos de Costa Rica. Lo siento, necesito pedir cacao porque mi español no es perfecto. Now, ellos están dándonos información porque ellos no tienen ninguna fe con la media, con la prensa, los canales de televisión y radio en este país. ¿Okay? Ellos son parte del cartel de extorsión y estafas. ¿Okay? Tengo un mensaje para Costa Rica. The investigators y directores de ICE, OIOTA en la Corte Suprema. This is para Costa Rica. Oscar Arias, Chinchilla, Rodrigo Arias y LADIS nos amenazan a nosotros y nuestras familias para eliminar nuestra voz. Este es en algunos casos con violencia. En esta razón nosotros estamos dándoles dándoles esta información. We are giving you this information because hermanos Arias are attacking and amenazando familias. We have, okay, vamos a mirar otra vez. We have a message, un mensaje from the ex-president Luis Alberto Monge for you. This message is for you, Costa Ricans. He wants you to know, él quiere que ustedes saben que hay una persona en este país que estás pensando en ustedes. And this is solamente el presidente. Los otros políticos, the other politicians, they say nothing. Absolutely nothing. Here in Costa Rica, okay, aquí en Costa Rica, el Departamento de Justicias, the Supreme Court, the Tribunals de Justicias, OIJ, ninguno de ellos pueden proteger los ciudadanos contra la Dirección de Inteligencia y Okay, welcome back to our program about human rights. We have a message for you, tenemos un mensaje, from ex-presidente Luis Alberto Monge. Solamente él está hablando contra la Dirección de Inteligencia y Seguridad. The other politicos, they are quiet, except for Mr. Marino. El ex-diputado, señor Marino, is the solamente persona que ha estado hablando acerca de or about the Ds. So, vamos con este mensaje para ustedes, Costa Rica. So, vamos a su pantalla, and this is from the University of Costa Rica, ex-presidente Luis Alberto Monge calls Oscar Arias an indecent and corrupt dictator. This is in Spanish. I will translate to English. This democratic institution of Arias-Chinchilla, Oscar and Rodrigo Arias, has been destroyed into pieces, broken. It has been distorted. It has been run over, the democratic institution run over by the constant violations of the political constitution here in Costa Rica and by the concentration of power that Costa Rica has never had that we have never had in our history. The political power, the economic power, and look at this, Costa Rica en el mundo. When you see this in YouTube, the power of the press in the hands of only one individual. The hermanos Arias, they control all media in this country except for this program. We refuse to pay extortion fees. Nosotros no vamos a pagar extorsión. Ellos quieren extorsionarnos. And this is Oscar Arias, Rodrigo Arias, Arias-Chinchilla, and Alicia Forner de CINART. Ellos trataron a extorsionarnos in CINART hace 4 años. So let's continue. All of the power of the press is in the hands of only one individual, Oscar Arias with Rodrigo Arias, who is a true dictator in Costa Rica. We are not, my beloved countrymen, we are not living in a democracy. We are living in a false democracy. We are living with an indecent and corrupt dictator, Oscar Arias, with Rodrigo Arias, that we have never had in our country before. Okay? And Ladis with Oscar Arias, Rodrigo Arias, Arias-Chinchilla, Luis Paulino Mora have violated the Declaration of Human Rights in the United Nations. We are asking, nosotros estamos preguntando, we are asking the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights in Washington, D.C. We have a petition, vamos a mi cara muy rápido. We have in Washington sent a petition, una petición, to the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights to stop beatings, golpizas, torture. Ellos están torturando. I try my Spanish. They are threatening people, hostigamientos, harassment, spying in the diputados, and amenizando los diputados también. Vamos a su pantalla. So, we are asking the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights, please stop Oscar Arias, Laura Chinchilla, and the Presidential Police, la 10's, from violence and terror. We are asking Felipe, Paulo, Diana, Rodrigo, Maria, Jose, and Luz, please help stop the violence here. We are also asking the High Commissioner for Human Rights, Nabi Pila, from the United Nations, help stop human rights abuses. Por favor, detener los abusos de hermanos derechos, golpizas, amenazas y intimidación por Oscar Arias, Laura Chinchilla, and their Policía Presidencial, la 10's. Well, vamos a mi cara. So, cómo funcionar la 10's? How does the 10's function? Well, the 10's, they have an office in the Casa Presidencial. In la Casa Presidencial, or in the presidential house, Laura or Oscar or Rodrigo, they give orders, dan órdenes to la 10's, and la 10's, they do the dirty work, okay? So, vamos a su pantalla. Vamos a ver qué tipo de órdenes ellos están dando. So, vamos a su pantalla. Okay? Rodrigo and Oscar and Laura, they give orders to threaten the citizens, amenazan los ciudadanos, persecution of journalists, intervention of telephones, espiar, extorsión de familias, blackmail, chantajear. Cristina, yo espero que eso es correcto, chantajear empresarios, violenten físicamente a diputados de la República. This is adentro or inside of the presidential house, okay? And entonces, la 10's or the secret police then go out and do their orders. The Supreme Court, con Luis Paulino Mora, ellos bloquean la gente que han sido, that have been threatened by the 10's in the courts. And this is from La Nación. The presidential police, the 10's, spy with no control. The presidential police, la Policía Presidencial, la 10's, responde exclusivamente a las órdenes de la presidencia. Only Oscar Arias, Laura Chinchilla, and Rodrigo Arias. Okay? Solo ellos pueden dar los órdenes a la Policía Presidencial. Okay? And this is from La Nación. Laura Chinchilla is the president. Laura Chinchilla is la presidenta. And Oscar and Rodrigo Arias, hermanos, son los líderes. Ellos están dando los órdenes a Laura Chinchilla. This is from the University of Costa Rica. And FUNDAPEM. FUNDAPEM is an organization of human rights here in San Pedro. Okay? Oscar Arias, Laura Chinchilla, and the presidential police, la 10's, persecute los ciudadanos, harass, hostigamiento, spy on, espiar, beat, golpean or golpizas, threaten, amenizar, and blackmail, chantajear los ciudadanos here in Costa Rica. Okay? This is from the University of Costa Rica and FUNDAPEM. Vamos a mi cara muy rápido. I have talked with the consecutive, or the consejo, the board members in UCR. After I talk with them, cuando yo he terminado hablando con ellos, ellos están dando mi información, ellos están siendo amenizados por los hermanos Arias. This is It's ridiculous. Okay, vamos a su pantalla. And let's continue. And important Costa Rica. University of Costa Rica and the Congress, Asamblea Legislativa. The Presidential Police, la DIS, no responde a la rendición de cuentas de nadie. Inmunidad total. You cannot investigate la DIS. Ustedes no pueden investigar la DIS. The Presidential Police, la DIS, ellos están en direct contradicción artículo 11 de la Constitución Política de Costa Rica. Ellos no rendir la cuenta, ellos no dan ningún reportajes y en ellos no asumen ninguna responsabilidad por las cosas que ellos han hecho. Total immunity. This is contra el artículo 11 de la Constitución. ¿Por qué? Porque la sala constitucional de here in Costa Rica is corrupt. These individuals son corrupta. Jorge, Fernando, Gilbert, Ana, Luis Paulino Mora, Ernesto, and Fernando Castilla. Okay? This is the problem. Cuando la persona, when people, vamos a mi cara, when la DIS has beaten, stolen, blackmailed, or extorted an individual, you go to the Supreme Court. You present a denuncio or an amparo. You give to these people these papers to make a denuncio. These judges, take your amparo abajo los órdenes de hermanos Arias and botarlos en la basura. This is the reason you cannot investigate la DIS. These individuals are corrupt. So vamos a su pantalla. And remember the fiscal del ANSE no desea ajust. He doesn't want any adjustments in la DIS. He wants it to die. This is from the DA. The Presidential Police do not respond to anybody. They have total immunity. This was un comentario from Laura Chinchilla, Oscar Arias, Luis Paulino Mora, and Rodrigo Arias in La Nación. The hierarchy of the Presidential Police, la DIS, affirms we only investigate figures of organized crime. Yes, they say, we only investigate figures of organized crime. This is mentiras. They spy on diputados here. They spy on congressmen here in Costa Rica. They spy on more congressmen in Costa Rica. They spy on and they persecute periodistas, reporters here in Costa Rica. They attack the Presidential Police of Oscar Arias and Laura Chinchilla, assault or attack congressmen in Costa Rica. This is from the extra. They are attacking the congressmen in Costa Rica. This is from the University of Costa Rica. The Presidential Police have físicamente atacado los representantes Congressional de la República. And, interesting, here, the PLN and the government of Rodrigo Arias, Laura Chinchilla, and Oscar Arias, durante el 1 de mayo de este año, they amenizaron Luis Alberto Rojas durante en la Asamblea Legislativa about las elecciones de la nueva jefe en la Asamblea. They are amenizando los congresistas here in the congressman here. And this is from the Prensa Libre. This is from a diputado, Jose Marino. He is a congressman. That Oscar Arias, Laura Chinchilla are blackmailing representatives of the business sector. Okay? They are blackmailing chantejas, miles, thousands and thousands of citizens in Costa Rica. This is from the extra. The Policía Presidencial of Oscar Arias, Rodrigo Arias, espían en miles y miles de personas and extorsionar miles de personas. La Policía Presidencial actividades es público y notorio. Se ha dicho, or the presidential police activities are public and everybody knows about it. It's known in the Assembly, in the Congress, and the media, and the prensa. But the prensa says nothing about these spying on the political sectors, on the congressmen, and blackmailing representatives of the business sector. This is because total illegal immunity given by the Supreme Court. Corruption in the Supreme Court. Remember this. La Policía de Costa Rica, la DIS, the estafadores, Oscar Arias, Rodrigo Arias, and Arias-Chinchilla operaban en la presidencia tica. Una banda, la Policía Presidencial, que habría, the presidential police had stolen at least $358,000 that operated inside the same offices of the Direction of Intelligence in the presidential house. Now, the jefe, he was fired. Recently, the jefe of this estafa, he returned to work. Él regresó a su trabajo después de 2 años. ¿Por qué? And también, la DIS, una persona ex policía de la DIS, he was kidnapping, secuestrando con un grupo de personas. Pero the court said, lo siento, pero usted puede ser libre. This is because ustedes, you cannot investigate la DIS. They don't respond to the cuentas de nadie. Now, vamos a mi cara muy rápido. Yo he tenido interviews con OIOTA, Supreme Court, Tribunals de Justicias. La gente, the individuals in the Corte Suprema, ellos tienen un mensaje para ustedes. Vamos a su pantalla. Okay? Para los, recuerda, when a person arrives to the Supreme Court, cuando una persona ha llegado al Supreme Court para denunciar la DIS, los jueces están votando los amparos or the denuncios. They are throwing the denuncios in the basura. This is mensaje de la Corte Suprema, de los abogados, la gente trabajando allá. For the judges, los jueces of the Sala 4, the Supreme Court, the amparos, the denuncios against the presidential police are only papers. Nothing more than papers. Article 11 of the Constitution has no significance for the judges in the Sala 4. They make their own laws contrary to the Constitution. They don't see the amparos as people. They, the judges, are throwing the amparos, the denuncios, in the trash or rechazándoles. We have had mucho más que 3,000 denuncios or amparos against the presidential police thrown in the trash, rechazado, by the judges, okay? And this is because of constitutional corruption. Total immunity. And this is from Fundapem. Inside of the presidential power, the Poder Judicial, exist the ultra-repressive La DIS. In the DIS, they are part of the police, include golpizas, abusos, and amenazadas. They have been prohibited, but they continue realizando redadas, okay? This is from Fundapem. The presidential police extort citizens and businesses, okay? And the presidential police, they attack and extort families because the children are the most vulnerable. This is from the Tribunals de Justicias, okay? The future of the education of the children is threatened by the instrument through the state, la 10's, of Oscar Arias to extort money from families. To get the money from the families, the state, la 10's, Oscar and Rodrigo Arias, they threaten the future education of the children to get the money. The families pay the state, Oscar Arias, Rodrigo Arias, the 10's, Lord Chinchilla, under coacción. This is como la 10's funcionar. Ellos they attack the heart of the family. They have beatings, golpizas de las familias, amenazas. This is how, como la 10's funcionar. They work with fear, miedo. They send fear into the family. They threaten, amenazan the families. Ustedes hacen las cosas nosotros queremos, or ustedes van a tener problemas. This is how, como, la 10's, the hermanos Arias, Lord Chinchilla, and the cartel de negocios en este país function. They function and they use fear and terror against the families here in Costa Rica. Please, always have faith in yourself. You can defeat terror. You can defeat fear. These individuals, Oscar Arias, Rodrigo Arias, Lord Chinchilla, and the cartel de negocios that threaten families for money. Ellos, they only want money. These individuals will, in the future, not last long. Fear and terror is not part of Costa Rica. Have a wonderful day, and always remember, always study English. Bye-bye.